Dijkstra algorithm deals with the problem of finding the single source shortest path from a certain source vertex. What does this mean? Okay, say you want to start from some vertex S and you want to reach some target T. Dijkstra algorithm will find you a path like some collection of vertex from start to T, and it guarantees that S to T path will be shortest. Okay, but it also calculates some other vertex like path from our other vertex like say A. A wasn't our target, but Dijkstra algorithm will find single source shortest path from a certain source vertex to every other vertex. Okay, so uh, how is this possible? Okay, so it does so by maintaining a priority queue. What's a priority queue? Or heap? Okay, this is a data structure. This is a certain data structure. Let's say this is the data structure of priority queue or heap. You put some item in it, like say you insert 100 in this item, then you can insert 50, then 1, then 2, then 90. Okay, this data structure is intelligent in a way. Whenever you ask for an item, you can ask one item at a time, so it will return you the either the minimum item or the maximum item. So if you define it as minimum min heap, okay, if you define it as min heap, then what this will do, it will return you the minimum item. So at first it will return you 1. Okay, then again you ask, it returns 1, that means it picks the 1 from the data structure. Okay, so 1 gets cancelled, 1 is no longer in the data structure. Next time you ask for the minimum item, it will return you 2, so 2 gets cancelled. Next time you ask for it, it will return 50, 50 gets popped. Next time 90, then 100. Okay, so how this is better than sorting an array? Like if you were to sort this array, you would get this. Okay, you will get this result. But what if there is incoming of vertices, like you are getting data from a string, so you are getting something and you need to pop, you are getting, then you need to pop like this, like there is a stream of data. Okay, and you want to know the minimum most item in that data in a certain instance, like say at t1 time you have this amount of data and you need to know the minimum most item. So if you were to sort the whole array, okay, if you are to sort the whole array, then you could do this, but after t2 time the array may get rearranged, like you may add more item to it. Let's say at t1 time there were 3 items, it was 100, 10 and 2, so this look like this, but at t2 time this may look like this, so the array may gets changed. Okay, after picking and popping elements, so every time you need the minimum most item, then you would need to sort the entire array, which is inefficient. So priority queue or main heap does this by not sorting the entire array, by maintaining a heap actually. So this is priority queue, it will give us the minimum item in that current instance, okay, in a particular time. So we're going to demonstrate Dijkstra algorithm. How does this, how it works? Okay, Dijkstra algorithm will put all the path from source vertex, let's say source vertex to A, source vertex to B. This is a path actually. S, I am writing it as a curved line. So S to A, this is a path. S to A path, S to B path. So it will keep track of all the reachable paths from source vertex and put those in a priority queue. Okay, so this priority queue has all the paths from S to currently discovered paths. Okay, so this priority queue, I will give this all the reachable paths from source to currently discovered vertices. So S to A, S to B, S to C. So all those paths are there. Okay, we want to go to say target. Okay, we haven't reached target yet. So the I will store those paths in a priority queue and I will pull one by one. So S to A is there, S to B is there, S to C is there. So I will ask the priority queue, hey priority queue, which is the smallest path, and the priority queue will return. Okay, so if the priority queue returns say S to A path was 10 distance long, S to B was 5, and S to C was 200 distance long. Okay, so priority queue will return me the smallest path. Which is the smallest path here? This one. So priority queue will return the smallest path, which is S to B, and it guarantees that this is the smallest path to reach B. This is important. Like uh, it is giving. I have stored all the paths reachable from source to all the currently discovered vertices, and it will return the smallest path. And what happens if it returns the smallest path? So it is giving me the minimum path it had available at this point. Okay, so S to be guarantees that this is the smallest path to reach B. Okay, if there are any other path which is smaller than this S to B path, that would have been popped earlier. Okay, because that's how priority queue works. It gives you the minimum item. So if S to B gets popped, that means this path from S to B is the smallest to reach B. Okay, this is important. If we pop a path from the heap, it is the smallest path for that vertex. So S to B gets popped, that means we have reached B in the shortest path. Okay, because that's how priority queue works. It gives you the smallest item. So in this process, we will iteratively adding path. Then we have popped B, so we will start from B. Who are the neighbors of B? Okay, then we'll go to these vertices in the smallest path, and that's how Dijkstra will be able to find T. Okay, whenever we have popped, let's say in the priority queue, we got S to T from the priority queue, then it will guarantee that we have reached T in the most smallest path, Okay, uh, so that's Dijkstra algorithm. And improving on Dijkstra algorithm, there is another algorithm called A star. Okay, A star algorithm. A star is very similar to Dijkstra, but it is smarter than Dijkstra. Let's say you are this start vertex and you want to reach target. Target is here. Okay, so how Dijkstra works? Dijkstra will explore the nearest path. Okay, say S to A, S to B, and S to C. So these are three vertices directly connected to S, and C is connected to, so to say, H, H is I, I is T. Okay, S to A connected to say Z, B connected to Y. So what Dijkstra will do, it will explore the nearest path. So it will explore S to A, S to B, say X to W. So these paths will be visited, but I want to reach here in the T. I don't want to reach anywhere else. So Dijkstra visits these paths, but these will not help you reach T. Okay, so A star is kind of like smart in a sense. It determines which vertices will help you reach the target. So this A, this B, this W, Z, Y, none of this help you in reaching D. Okay, so Dijkstra would visit those, but A star would direct its direct to this vertices, which will help you reach D. Okay. That's how A star is different. Uh, that's why A star is able to perform searches faster. Okay, because it kind of gauges which vertex will help you reach D. I'll just demonstrate a example. So here I have one file named distances.csv and coordinates.csv. In the coordinates.csv, we have some star systems. We have our sun here somewhere. Okay, yeah, we have sun. Sun is located at 000 coordinate. These are 3D coordinates. So Proxima Centauri. These are the coordinates for star systems. And we have some distance from one star system to another star system. From the coordinates, we can calculate the Euclidean distance between any two star systems, but if we were to reach from a certain star to another star, there are some distance. Okay, this distance is not Euclidean distance. This distance is the actual distance you need to travel to reach from certain star to another star. Okay, then we have solved this problem of reaching from a certain source star. Here we have selected the source star as TRAPPIST 1 and we want to reach to 55 Cancri. I guess that's its name. Okay, so if we solve this using Dijkstra, it will start searching from TRAPPIST 1 and it will try to reach to 55 Cancri in the shortest possible path. So if we solve this using Dijkstra, let's see how it goes. So this is TRAPPIST 1 actually, and this is 55 Cancri. We can see that TRAPPIST 1 is visiting all the nearest path. Okay, all the nearest paths are getting visited first, none of which is contributing to going to 55 Cancri, and after a while it has reached 55 Cancri and the algorithm stops. Okay, if you can say this is TRAPPIST 1 actually. Okay, and then if we solve this using A star, let's see what happens. Okay, so TRAPPIST 1, it did not visit those vertices at all, this cluster. Okay, so TRAPPIST 1 directly after like only to visit, it has reached 55 Cancri. Okay. This was a good example of why A star algorithm is so much faster than Dijkstra.